Happy Saturday. You are tuned in to the American Cream Show. I am your host, Hyacinth Henderson, and on Cream, we show you, teach you, lead you, guide you on how to redefine the American dream with Cream. Cream stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. And on my left, I got my main man, Tavaris. Tell the people what you do.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. I'm Tavaris Jones, licensed stockbroker. I'm also a licensed life insurance and annuity broker as well. And we came to bring you guys some information, some valuable information to uplift you this weekend and also educate you this weekend.
Absolutely. Tavares is my right hand. As he said, he's a licensed stockbroker, a licensed annuity and insurance broker as well. He's been here. I always lose track of the years. It feels like forever. He knows the date that he started. How many years are we at now?
It was Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th.
Okay.
And this year wouldn't be 3 years.
3 years, going on 3 years. Wow, that's it?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah.
We did a lot in 3 years, huh?
Yeah.
Does it feel like 3 years to you?
Not at all. Not at all.
It feels longer, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. Well, they say time is a construct anyway, right? So whatever we say it is, and that's what it is. All right. And so for those of you who are new here, I am Hyacinth Henderson. I am a licensed stockbroker. Lipstick on my teeth. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got codes for that. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm a licensed stockbroker. I'm a registered investment advisor, an annuity and insurance broker, and we are the Henderson Financial Group. The Henderson Financial Group is a full-service financial planning and investment advisory firm. All right, so T, I'm gonna let you open up while I check the lipstick situation, and we're gonna go there. You want to shout out some people, or do you think?
Yeah. So hey, good morning, Miss Denise Ward. We got June. Good morning, June. She's always tuned in to us. We appreciate you. We got Delawrence Moore. Good morning. Hey, Dorothy Henderson. Hey, good morning, Miss Henderson. So we got you. So we got a great show in store for you guys this morning. We got some interesting topics. So what we're gonna do is we want to start with what we're gonna start with.
Thank you. We're gonna start. Yeah, I'm just real like that. I'm not gonna talk the whole show, and I'm not gonna get up. So thank you. I always let them know, red lipstick is the color, but it gets on my teeth, and they have to send me little smoke signals when that happens. So thank you for that, T. I appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna start off with talking about some of you may have heard that. His name is escaping me right now. Chadwick Boseman. I got more lipstick on my teeth. Chadwick Boseman, who played King T'Challa in Black Panther, he is transitioned, right? So I think that happened sometime yesterday. And when I woke up this morning on the news, on my phone news, not the TV news, but I saw that he had transitioned. He's no longer here on planet Earth with us, right? So what was interesting is that he transitioned due to colon cancer. He was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, I think they said in 2017, so about 3 years ago, and it progressed to stage 4 colon cancer. He was 42 years old, and he transitioned yesterday. What was interesting about that to me is that he did his job. Like, he didn't let that stop him. So when you think back at all of the movies and the films that he was in during these past few years, he was battling cancer. And I pause with battling because, words matter, but he was having an experience with cancer, and yet he still got up every single day and did his job and created great films and was an actor. And I think that says a lot.
Talk about determination, right?
Wow.
Like not even determination, but like what instantly came to mind was that song with Rick James and I forgot the lady name, Tina Marie, Fire and Desire. He definitely had a fire and desire when it came to living his purpose. Right, living in his purpose and getting things done and not being a victim of his circumstance. I know lots of times we make excuses for ourselves, and we fold into a corner instead of going out and attacking what hurdle that's in front of us, right? And I feel like this was a great reminder for myself, and not only that, but for the public, for us to put that fire up under our butts and create that fire and instead of sitting down on it and putting the fire out, you're keeping it hot, keeping us moving forward, and staying focused and staying fiery, I guess.
I
won't say
agree.
fiery.
I agree. It made me think about, like, what do we do with the 24 hours in our day? And what I like that you said, determination, right? And so here it is. Could you imagine being diagnosed with stage 3 cancer? So this is not early detection. This is stage 3. And generally they say, listen, it's going to, or is expected to get worse. So on one hand, you receive this news, and on the other hand, you decide that I'm still going to get up and be my best self. I'm still going to get up and do what I am called here to do. That determination, he made a decision.
Yes.
He made a decision. My good friend D. Bowden always says, you got to decide. You got to make a choice. And he made a decision. You know, I'm sure he made other decisions, but one of the decisions that he made was, I am not going to let this sit me down. I'm not going to let this sit me down. I'm going to get up. I'm going to keep creating these movies, starring in these movies, doing what I need to do, and living my legacy before I leave a legacy. And now that he's transitioned, we're all like, what? He was able to do that? And so it got me to thinking, what am I doing every day? What am I doing to live a legacy? What are you doing to live a legacy? Because I know this is a financial educational show and we all want to talk about money and things like that. But a large part of how much money you amass in this lifetime is tied to your determination. It's tied to the decisions you make. It's tied to the things that you do. It is tied to when you deciding that, okay, I know I got this news. I was told this, you know, this is where I am now. This is how it looks, but I'm going to take actions and make decisions to change my outcome. I'm not going to let this sit me down. And so as I read the information today, I said, gosh, how many other people were on his team that he had to say, listen, I don't know what the conversation was like, but it was like, listen, don't tell anybody. And I don't know if it was don't tell anybody because I don't want a pity party, or don't tell anybody because we got work to do. But think about all the other actors, directors, professionals that he works with. And at some point they had to have known, because I'm sure when you're going through things like that, you have appointments and therapies, and sometimes your body is weak. So they knew, and everybody kept that secret.
Well, when you are that good of a when you're that good at your craft, it's kind of like Tom Brady, right? If Tom Brady is going through a situation, I'm pretty sure the individuals around him would keep him motivated and also do things to accommodate him in his circumstance.
Is he the one that was deflating the balls or something?
Yeah,
They didn't tell. You're right. They didn't tell.
So it's certain things that happen around you when you have a certain value about yourself, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And when you develop that value, and that developing value goes back to what you're doing with your time, right? Because you can't watch hours of TV or do hours of gossip and still add value to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So he had a high level of value, which created individuals around him to accommodate his circumstance.
I agree.
Right, because he was known to deliver. Right, so you can't be an average Joe and expect people to cater to your circumstance if you don't have no value. Right, so it always goes back to putting time into yourself, cultivating your craft. Mr. Henderson always says, sharpening your knife. You always want to spend time and sharpen your knife. Get better at something. Get better at speaking. Get better at reading. Get better at whatever it is you want to do. Put time into it and flourish in it. Or so you can flourish in it.
That's true. That's true. He brought value. They saw his value, and they were like, you know what, we're going to, respect your wishes and whatever it is that you want us to do. And so I mean, I know that it's fresh, but we're just sharing some of the things that we are picking up from this news. And for me, it is, and everybody who's listening to this, I want you to ask yourself, what are my excuses? What are my excuses?
And what am I doing with my time?
And what am I doing with my time?
This morning, on the way to the office this morning to record, I rode past a car wash, right? And at the car wash, it was full of people getting their car washed. And while their car was getting washed, or while they're waiting for their car to get washed, they were waiting. Like they had a little sitting section or a little sitting area, and there was several people just waiting there, watching people wash their car, or sitting on the phone or whatnot. And I was like, wow. I couldn't imagine sitting there watching someone wash my car, right? Instead of sitting there watching someone take care of the car, it'll be best to put that time into, like I say, cultivating your craft, getting better at something, right? Instead of because you already got somebody taking care of the car, right? So instead of taking a break, go ahead and jump into something. Jump into developing that red velvet cake that you say you want to learn. You want to be a baker, or you know, if you want to be a what's another craft out here that people, if you want to be a writer, you know, practice your craft on writing. If you want to be
if you're a content creator.
Yeah, content creator.
I had a call with someone yesterday, 26 years old. And we're doing the call, and she says, I get to the part where I said, well, what do you do for a living, right? And she kind of stutters a little bit, and she's like, well, I create content. And I'm like, oh, you create content? So I'm getting excited, because at 39 years old, I know what that means, right? And she says, yeah. She says, I have a YouTube channel, and she was very modest about it. This 26-year-old makes $140,000 a year by posting videos on YouTube. She has 335,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. So what Tavaris is saying is, while you sitting there at the car wash, you could be doing something. Because the only reason why you should be paying somebody to wash your car is because the price that you pay somebody to wash your car is smaller than the amount of money you're going to earn while they're washing your car, the things that you're going to work on while they're washing your car. So if you're paying somebody $10 an hour to wash your car, you know that, hey, if I sit down and write a book, if I make a cake, if I read, if I study, this knowledge that I'm going to obtain in this hour is going to be worth more than the $10 that I spend out for paying somebody to wash my car. That's the only reason why you should be paying somebody to wash your car. If not, it makes no sense for you to pay somebody to wash your car, and you sitting there playing a game on your phone, you scrolling Facebook, you listening to the latest songs and the bebops and all that, you hustling backwards. That is what because you have to look at every hour and put a dollar amount to it. So I understand what you're saying, Tavaris, and that's because you're operating at a high level of success. When you start operating at a high level of success, you're saying, wait a minute, my time, this a time value of money, right? This is not the best use of my time. So yes, my car needs to get washed. Yes, I am worth more than $10 an hour, so I'm going to pay somebody to do it. No, I'm not going to sit at the car wash while they're washing my car. I'm just not going to do that unless maybe I'm listening to a podcast, I'm listening to an audiobook. I got my laptop, I'm studying, I'm taking notes, I'm doing research, I'm creating a YouTube because I'm a content creator and I'm doing a story about the car. Unless you're doing something like that, then you have to always be asking yourself, is this the best use of your time? And we really and truly have no excuses. I don't feel like it is not an excuse. I didn't want to do it. It's not an excuse. I just told you it's a 26-year-old who's making $140,000 a year. It's some grown people who don't make $140,000 a year. She's 26 and she does this from the comfort of her home. So when you listen to us and we're talking to you about the things that you can do and how you can be more and do more, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. If you want to be a rocket scientist, go do that. Go be that. If you want to, be a doctor or a lawyer or an attorney or whatever these things are, go do that and go be that. But that is no longer the only way. We're in 2020 where you can make money wherever you are. But it goes back to what Chad taught us, determination, getting up and not letting a diagnosis sit us down. So ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? What excuses are you telling yourselves? And also, how determined are you? Because your determination has to be greater than your excuses, right?
Definitely. And what you put in is what you get out.
Absolutely.
What you put in is what you get out. And it's deeper than just a bank account, right? A bank account is just a visual of what you put in and what you get out. But life as well is a reflection of, what you put in is what you get out. The determination, the amount of value that you add to yourself, the amount of now it takes great discipline now. Nothing in life that's worth having is going to come easy. Right, you're gonna have those two voices, those two inner voices that's gonna talk to you and say, "Hey, man, go to the car wash and just sit there and watch your car." But then there's gonna be another voice that says, "Hey, instead of washing the car, let's do something else." So, but which voice are you gonna listen to, right? And that's the determining factor. And so let's talk about it. I think that swings right into legacy, because I heard you say legacy also when you're speaking about Chad. Not only did he leave a legacy, well, we know he left a legacy when it comes to acting and movies and stuff like that, but when it comes to a financial legacy for his family, right, which is financial intergenerational wealth, which is a pinpoint, it's a highlighted example of the importance of life insurance, right? The importance of life insurance. Now, you guys may not be actors and actresses, right, but you can definitely leave a legacy behind for your family. with life insurance, right? And the importance of it. And we don't want to, like Damian Nelson a few weeks ago. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Nelson? A few weeks ago, he used the term legacy account or
wealth building account,
wealth building account, or something of that nature, right? And instead of seeing life insurance as a bill or a monthly expense, look at it as a wealth building account, a legacy leaving account, I love my kids account, or I love myself account, right? And put something together and leave something for your loved ones.
It's a reminder that we all need life insurance, right? So we've been talking about that a lot recently on the American Cream Show, is the need for life insurance, right? So if COVID didn't remind you that you needed life insurance, I know for me, this has been the most amount of transitions or deaths that I have seen in one, and it's not even a full year, that I've just heard, okay, this person didn't wake up today. This person didn't wake up. And I'm like, gosh, is this not a reminder that we don't know the day or the hour? We believe that we do. Some of us believe that we're going to live forever. But if you are listening to this, one of the things that I want you to do is to make sure you have life insurance. You need some life insurance because you just never know. And so the time to get life insurance is not when you're already ill. You need life insurance like yesterday. And so put that on your to-do list. I know on your to-do list you have, listen, we got to tune in to the American Cream Show. And at 8 o'clock, we got to watch the Understanding Money Show. But put it on your checklist to not only make sure you have life insurance, but also the people who are around you. At the Henderson Financial Group, we are life insurance brokers. What that means is we don't work for one individual company. We work for you. We create and we find the best policies and the best life insurance coverage for you and your needs. So it's almost like if you go to Burger King and you really want a Big Mac, and you go to Burger King and you're like, yes, I'll have a Big Mac, extra mac sauce, and onion rings instead of fries. They're going to be like, oh, we got you on the onion rings instead of fries. The shake machine working. You want a milkshake today? Or you want an iced tea? But we can't get you with that Big Mac. And you're like, why not? I want a Big Mac. I'm at a burger joint. Yeah, but here at Burger King, we only sell Whoppers or Junior Whoppers or whatever else it is that they sell. But the Big Mac is for McDonald's. If you want a Big Mac, you got to go to McDonald's. And so that's the difference when I say that we are life insurance brokers. We don't only work for one company. Okay, if you want something that Burger King does not sell, you have to go to another restaurant. At the Henderson Financial Group, it's about what you want. It's about your objectives and it's about your goals. We're not going to force you into a life insurance situation that doesn't align with your goals and your objectives. So we are life insurance brokers. You can give us a call at 305-825-1444. It doesn't cost you anything. Let us give you a free quote. And then especially if you have family members that they have children, you need to get some life insurance on them as well. To all my single mothers out there or mothers with young children, regardless of if you're single or not, you need life insurance on the other parents.
Single fathers too.
Single fathers too. Yeah, you should represent for the single fathers.
Single fathers too.
Single fathers too. You're right. And while you say that, listen, I'm not a man hater. I'm not a man basher. I am not a part of the group of people who recently have risen up and saying, black men don't protect black women. I don't believe in that.
I would agree with that. Me knowing you, that's true. That's a true statement.
What's the true statement?
Well, you're saying that you're not a man basher. Okay. you definitely support men. So yeah, but I just had to stand up and highlight, that it's single fathers. It's awesome single fathers out here. And shout out to you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. The world needs more people like you.
You're right. I'm gonna let them have this moment. I'm gonna let you finish. But the point is, if you are a parent and you have a child, get some insurance on the other parent. I had insurance on my daughter's father from the time she was 2 years old. Kyla will be 20 years old on Monday. Can you believe that?
Wow.
20. I will have a 20-year-old on Monday.
Wow. Gray hair is coming soon.
Yeah. What'd you say? The great day?
I said the gray hair is coming soon.
The gray hairs is yeah. For her or me?
Not for her.
For me, I already got gray hair. I listen. I want all this gray. I have like 5 in the front, and they be hating. I'm like, you see this gray hair? No, I don't, Hyacinth. But anyway, yeah, she's gonna be 20. But you need life insurance, not just for yourself, for the other parents, single fathers, single mothers. People who aren't single, who have children. Get some insurance on your spouses, get some insurance on yourself, because we just never know when our day is going to come. It's going to come one day, right?
And,
all right.
And for those individuals that may be single and may not have any kids like myself, I have life insurance, right? I'm the oldest of 6 children. So like we spoke about, one of the importance of life insurance is not just for when you pass away, right? You can use it for living benefits. You know, you can use it for several other features. And once you give us a call, we can discuss with you about, you know, your goals and your objectives, and we can find a policy that'll fit that for you. But also, I'm the oldest of 6, so when it comes to legacy planning, my policy right now at this point is for my siblings. You know, if something were to happen to me, then they'll be taken care of, you know. So you don't have to have kids at all. You know, you don't have to have a spouse. You know, you can think about your parents. You can think about siblings. You can think about even a close friend, you know, just where you can pass some wealth on and help someone out.
And you can think about yourself.
Yeah.
Like you said, those living benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We trick out a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
We like, all right, you think you want some insurance, but we're going to trick that thing all the way out, like flip it up, all types of different ways so that you can use it. All right, let's go into real estate. Let's talk about real estate.
Okay.
So y'all know I love real estate. I say that all the time. But you know what the funny thing is? As I meet new people and my path crosses with new people, they're like, no, I never heard of your show. No, I never heard you say that. So that gives me room to justify me repeating myself.
Hey, let's do it.
Let's do it. That gives me room to repeat myself. So the other day I was having a conversation with someone who was close to me, and we were talking about buying property and things like that. And I said, you know what, you should get an income property. And he said to me, what's an income property? And in that moment, I kind of paused a little bit because we were close. And I'm like, Dad, you don't know what an income property is? I got more work to do. And so I said, an income property is an income producing property, AKA an investment property. Okay? So I want you to follow along with me. If you heard it before, good. You're going to hear it again. If this is your first time hearing it, congratulations. This is your lucky day, right? So an income property or an income producing property is an investment property. Why do I call it that? We call it that because it is a property, a piece of real estate that you rent out with the purpose of receiving income from it.
Right.
That is a thing. That's a thing, people. And so as we were having this conversation, then he says, well, you know, who's going to pay for the property, the upkeep and the maintenance? You know, I don't know if I can afford to do that. And I was thinking to myself again, Dad, you know me. Like, why are we having this conversation? But I didn't say it. I was just like, okay, more people need to have this conversation.
Right.
And I said to him, I explained it. I said, listen, the same credit approval, if you go to your mortgage broker, I'm not going to say your bank, I'm going to tell you to go to a mortgage broker, because 9 times out of 10, especially if your credit isn't in the 800 scores, your mortgage broker is going to shop your credit to lenders who can give you the best option, right? The best financing option. Just like we are insurance brokers and we shop your information, a mortgage broker is going to shop your information. When you go directly to your local bank because you want to be like, nope, I went to Wells Fargo and Wells Fargo did my mortgage, you only get what Wells Fargo could give you.
They only sell Big Macs.
That's it.
Wells Fargo only sell Big Macs.
Only Big Macs. They're not giving you a Whopper. You can't get waffle fries from Wells Fargo or you know, they only selling you what they have. And so a lot of times people will go directly to the big banks and try to qualify for a mortgage, and when they don't get qualified, they're like, oh well, I went to my bank and I tried to and they couldn't get qualified, so I just can't buy a house right now. No. Go to a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker is going to shop your credit and your income situation around to the best lender who is going to be able to loan you money to buy your property. Okay? So boom. So I said to him, I said, the same approval that you are going to get for a single family home can be used for up to 1 to 4 units. Do you think they knew that, Tavaris?
Now, what you're saying is, when you shopping for a mortgage, right? Shopping for a mortgage, that same approval can get you, instead of just 1 door for, you know, your family to live in, you can get up to 4 doors, 4 units, 4 spaces.
Yes.
Which gives you leverage to where if you want to live in 1 space, you can then, it goes back, you can create income using the other 3.
You're getting way ahead. But yes, I love the way you think. I love the way you think. Y'all, if I got lipstick, tell me, because I'm doing big smiles now. But you're getting way ahead. But listen, just stop right there. Everyone who is watching this live should be writing that down. When I go and I get approved for a mortgage, in my mind, I know they're not going to tell me this. They're not going to say, hey, I like Tink, Tink, and Tito. Hey, Tink, Tink, or Tito. Congratulations, you're approved. You can actually buy up to 4 units with this property. They're not going to say that. They're going to say you're approved. You're approved for $300,000, $250,000. Keep your credit good. Don't go out and buy a new car and go to find your house. But it's important for you to understand with that same approval, that's like having a long a sub sandwich and saying, you know what, I could cut this thing up 4 times. Especially if you're an entrepreneur and you know that if I cut this sub sandwich up 4 times, I could sell this piece and sell this piece, and so I could sell all 4 pieces instead of me eating the whole sub sandwich myself.
So what it sounds like you're saying is knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Information is power.
Because people not going to tell you, well, the mortgage people not going to tell you what you can do to split this up, right? But you got it. Once you go in and you informed and you know what you can do it, you just got to get approved, basically. You know, you just got to get approved. And once you get approved, you use the knowledge that you learned from the American Cream Show to add some income for yourself.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Same approval. The same approval. And it doesn't make your mortgage broker or the bank good or bad. We're not here to label them good or bad. It just means that they're trying to get their loan done. They gave you the approval. They want you to find something so they can get their money.
That's
right?
their focus.
That's the focus.
That's their focus.
And your focus is for you to get your money.
Right.
And so now that I've just explained to you that same approval can be used for up to 1 to 4 units. What does that mean? And I'm going to break this down further. 1 to 4 units means 1 unit is like a condo, a single family, a townhouse. That's 1 unit. 2 units is a duplex. A duplex, if you don't know what a duplex is, hit Google. Google is your friend here. After it comes up, click the images tab and it'll show you pictures of a duplex. 3 units is a triplex. 4 units is a fourplex or a quadplex. And so with that same approval, you can buy a 1 to 4 unit. Why would I want to buy more than 1 unit, Tavaris?
The goal is income.
Always.
The goal is income.
Every day and twice on Sundays.
Yes.
Income.
Yeah, all money in.
All money in. That's right. All money in. So when we say you can buy up to 4 units, you should be thinking cha-ching, 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 because I want some income.
Definitely.
So for those of you who are listening and you're saying, I'm talking to my younger people who feel like, and it always, I chuckle a little bit inside when I say, are you renting or do you own? Or do you live with family? And I put that out there because I don't want you to be embarrassed to tell me what your living situation is.
Not at all.
At all. When my young kids tell me, young, I mean under 30, right? I know y'all adults don't. I'm 39 now, right? So when I mean young, I mean under 30. When y'all like, oh yeah, I live with my family, I'm like, yes. Yeah. I immediately say yes.
I wish I could still live with my parents.
Me too. Me too. Like, I wish I didn't have to pay no bills.
I'm telling you.
So if you still live at home, if you're still renting, don't be ashamed of that. Be proud of that, especially with the knowledge that you have now, because let me tell you, there are people who they want to boss up too fast. They want to be like, listen, I want to get out of my mama house. I don't want to rent this apartment anymore. I want to have my own house that I own. And now they're a slave to a mortgage.
Yeah. Now, when you're living with your parents, it's important. It's different ways to live with your parents, though, right? Now, you don't want to live with your parents and have a job and have a source of income and squander your money, right? You don't want to spend it on the latest shoes and cars and clothes and clubs and stuff like that, right? See, that way you hustling backwards, as we spoke about earlier. Now, to maximize your situation, you want to stay with mom and dad or auntie and uncle or whoever and pay yourself as much as you can on a monthly basis because you have a goal in mind. When I say a goal in mind, you've been watching American Cream, you're like, hey, I want to go get with a mortgage broker, get me an approval. And why? Because I'm going to approve I'm going to get 4 units, right? So to get 4 units, you also got to think about a down payment, right? You also got to think about closing costs, right? And you also got to have money after you make the purchase, right? You got to have excess money.
So while you're living at home, it's not for you to be open season, busting down the malls and Amazon truck coming to your house every day. While you're living at home or while you're renting or whatever your current situation is, don't let nobody shame you into an issue, right? So be wise about it. Say, I'm living here and I know that I want to buy right now. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to save my money because I'm going to go march to a mortgage broker and say, give me the best loan terms you can give me. And when they do, I am going to use the information that I have and buy more than 1 door. I always say you at least need 2 doors. You at least need 2 doors. So if tenant A bump their head, Then you got tenants who got some sense and they're paying your rent. Now, the exception to that is if you buy a property that's like under 100,000. If you buy a property, I would say under $75,000, and it only has one door, then we got to do the numbers and see what amount of rent you can collect versus your mortgage payment, and how you're going to receive some income. Because the only reason we're buying income producing property is so that we can get some money. I'm not going to put you in an income producing property and tell you, well, I know you're not clearing no money at the end of the month right now, but just wait 10 years till the real estate market goes back up. Nah, bro, that's hustling backwards. We're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing that. Somebody tells you that, you have to understand that they're looking out for their best interest more than your best interest. So now here we are. We understand that we can use the same approval to get 1 to 4 units. Now we're going to take the pressure off of our children, off of our nieces and nephews, and stop telling them, get up out of my house, because we barely making ends meet. We don't want to force them out to go buy a mortgage and go buy a property and get a mortgage so that they can be struggling. We're going to share this information with them and say, listen, baby girl, baby boy, you have this approval. Expand your mind. Wait to see until an income producing property comes along. Wait until you align with an income producing property, because here's what we want you to do. When you buy a house or a property, you're going to have a mortgage to pay. We don't want you to pay the mortgage. We want your tenants to pay the mortgage. You know why we want your tenants to pay the mortgage? Because we want somebody else to service that debt for you.
So let's rewind a little bit. So you telling me that I can have, not only can I make money off of it, but I can get somebody else to pay the mortgage?
Yep.
I can get somebody else to pay the mortgage.
Yep.
Now, if they paying the mortgage, what they doing is they keeping my credit nice and pretty.
Talk about
They
it.
keeping my lender off my back.
Talk about it.
And I got income
Talk about it.
over and above the cost of the mortgage.
Talk about it.
That's a beautiful situation.
It's a beautiful situation.
And it's not talking about your 9 to 5 or your regular income money.
Talk about it.
Not talking about that. This is overflow.
This is additional income.
Yeah,
this is additional. So when you talk to your children, you got to buy a house. And I'm big on that. I'm going to keep saying children. And this may apply to yourself too. You like, oh, you know, I've outgrown this house, and I heard this person buying a house and that person buying a house. That's all fine and dandy. I'm going to give me an income property now. That's what I'm going to get. And it's going to be more than one unit, because I want tenant A to pay the mortgage, and then tenant B, that is going to go into the account for me to stack some money so that I could repeat this process. And then if you got tenant 3 and tenant 4, then it's really open season.
There you go.
Right? So this is what I want. This is how I want you to think about real estate. A lot of people are saying, Hyacinth, is it a buyer's market? Is it a buyer's market? No, it's a seller's market right now.
So you saying timing is everything.
Timing is essential.
So if it's a seller's market,
what does that mean?
And you got in mind you want to buy, right now isn't the time to buy. If you got something you want to sell, there you go. You want to sell, you want to maximize profit, right? Now, if now is not the time to buy, right? So what is the now? What you want to do in the now? Right? And then now you want to stack your money and you want to get your credit together. So when buying season comes, you're already prepared for it. Right? You don't want to get prepared when buying season happens. You're already behind the 8 ball. So right now you want to save as much money as possible. You want to, pay down your debts, and we can show you an interesting way to do that, a very above average way to get rid of your debt before buying season comes. But yeah, so right now it's preparation.
Yeah. It's a seller's market, and there are people who are buying properties right now. If that's you, that's cool. Like, I'm not gonna put you in a headlock and be like, listen, don't buy a property right now. But I just want you to know that it's a seller's market. People are selling their properties now because we're anticipating the economy correcting itself or taking a dip, right? And the funny thing is, I don't really know when that's gonna happen, right? Because it's really been open season right now. The money has been flowing. I was just talking to my dad about this yesterday. I'm like, I've been looking at the numbers and the curves and the charts and everything like that. And I know we kind of feel like historically it's time for a correction, but it's just,
it haven't been corrected yet.
It hasn't.
It's still flowing.
Like I told him, I said, it's a phenomenon.
It's still flowing.
The money is still flowing out there. So I don't know when the housing market is going to correct itself,
but that can be good news for people that are still preparing themselves.
Absolutely,
that can be good news.
Absolutely.
So it's not bad news. It gives you more time.
Yeah, there are some of us.
And if you do have yourself together, you can get yourself even more together.
Right.
Right.
Just stay focused.
Yeah.
Stay focused. Keep stacking your cash. And then, of course, right now, because it's all about relationships, I recorded an episode on this on the podcast talking about relationships. And although we're saying it's a season of opportunities, the opportunities and the phone calls that I may get are definitely different than the opportunities and the phone calls that you get. Mm-hmm. Right? They're different because of the relationships that I have established. Mm-hmm. Someone may call me and say, Hyacinth, I got a jug on some properties up here. You can get these lots for 10 grand. They're already zoned. You can build multifamily, and you don't know nothing about that. Right? So in addition to you stacking your credit and your cash, you got to realize that it's about relationships and opportunities. And so if you stumble across an opportunity right now where the price is right and the numbers are right, then absolutely it's your season. Go ahead and purchase the property. So although I'm saying it's a seller's market, above all, the numbers got to make sense.
Definitely.
It has to make, the numbers have to make sense. Mr. Redhead says, if you want to sell and use that money to buy, is it a good time? Great question, Ms. Redhead. It just depends on the numbers, right? And so let's talk about this as well. If you want to sell, what are we selling? So in this conversation that I was having with a friend of mine, we were talking about, when people sell their house to buy a new house. And I thought about it, I said, well, let's really assess if when we sell a property that we purchased years ago, if we're making a profit. Because oftentimes people will say, well, I bought this house for $200,000 and I sold it for $300,000 and I made $100,000 in profit. And is that really true?
Not at all. Not at all. Tell them why it's not. Give them some info.
It's not really true because that is a limited perspective. You're looking at it and saying, well, you paid $200,000 for it, and now you're going to sell it for $100,000. But in between that period of time, you pay property taxes. You got to factor those in. How many years of property taxes did you pay? Did you pay 5 years of property taxes while you own the house? Maybe it was 10 years. So factor those in times 12. Then you pay property insurance. You also changed the AC. And then when you got in there, you wanted new stainless steel appliances. And then you had to update the kitchen because you wanted granite countertops. And then you wanted to change out the floors because you wanted to walk on marble. Like, you did all this work to the property. Then the water heater went out and you said, you know what, I want a tankless water heater now instead of the old-fashioned water heaters. So when you add all that up, you may have bought the property for $200,000 and sold the property for $300,000, but how much money did you put in it? Did you put $50,000 in? Did you put $70,000 in? So what is your true profit? And oftentimes people don't think about that. So when people say, I want to sell a property, the first question I ask them is why? Why do you want to sell a property? Let's look and see, is it cash flowing out? And hear what I'm saying. We're realtors here at the Henderson Financial Group. Mr. Henderson, we have a real estate brokerage license. We are a real estate brokerage firm as well. So when you come to me and say you want to sell your house, it's easy for us to say, okay, let's write up the listing contract so we can get this 3% cha-ching, cha-ching. But before we do that, the question is, why do you want to sell? Why? Everything starts with why.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then when you ask yourself why, the answer definitely has to make sense. Now, it sounds simple, but it has to make sense. So calculating the all-in cost, basically, is what you're saying, instead of just looking at the price that you paid for the property, right? Because things can sneak up. When you own a property, you got roof, you got all these expenses, as Heisey went over. Things happen, right? And when things happen, you have to pay for those things, right? So you want to factor in all of that cost when it comes to selling the property. And also you want to think about when you sell a property, if it's an income producing property, you're also selling your income, right? You're getting rid of that income. If the income makes sense at the end of the month on a monthly basis, then like I say, you have to weigh out if it makes sense to sell it or if it makes sense to keep the monthly income. Right?
Yep. Makes sense. Got to think about it. So it's not I can't say yes, now is a good time to buy if you want to sell and do this.
It all depends on the circumstance.
It depends on the circumstance. And if you are going to sell a property and you have another property lined up that you want to buy because it makes mathematical sense and you're going to get a larger return on your investment, then we need to be talking about a 1031 exchange. We're going to talk about that on the podcast. I think I'm going to bring that to the podcast. We're going to talk about a 1031 exchange. And I know some of you are scratching your head and saying, what's a 1031 exchange? You got to go to the podcast. As a matter of fact, I'm going to record the episode tonight and I will get it up for you next week. So If you don't know, I have a podcast. It's titled The American Cream Podcast. I just released 3 new episodes last week, and I recorded a ton of other episodes as well. So make sure you go to wherever you listen to podcasts at and subscribe to The American Cream Podcast. If you have been a loyal listener of The American Cream Podcast already, please do me a favor, and I don't ask y'all for much. Please leave a review and rate the podcast. A rating is great, but when you actually type up a review, it actually pushes the podcast up higher so that other people can find the podcast. And you don't want to be stingy with this financial information. You want everybody to know what's going on. We want everybody to win, right? Mm-hmm. So please do that. It's The American Cream. It's on Apple's podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Android, whatever it is. Just type in The American Cream with the C and it will come up. And I'm going to record that episode and then get it out next week about a 1031 exchange. Okay, so if you're just tuned into The American Cream, you're listening to Hyacinth and Tavaris Jones, and we are from the Henderson Financial Group. The Henderson Financial Group is a full-service financial planning firm and investment advisory firm as well. If you want one-on-one advice, one-on-one consultation, give us a call at 305-825-1444. Today we started off talking about Chadwick Boseman, I believe is his last name. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I just read it this morning. But he transitioned, and about how he pushed through, the determination, the stick-to-itiveness, how although he was diagnosed with stage 3 and then stage 4 cancer, he still got up every day and did his job. And he wanted to make sure he was not only living a legacy, but leaving a legacy. It is intentional that he said, I don't want to let them know until after I'm gone. That's intentional. And it wasn't that, oh my gosh, we didn't know. It was, what is the message here? So what are you getting up every day and saying, how am I living to live a legacy and leave a legacy? If you have children, I can tell you right now, they should be a part of seeing you live a legacy and leave a legacy for them. What actions are you taking? What decisions are you making? Do they see you get up when you're tired? Do they see you still study when you're exhausted? How does that work? Are they seeing you make the best use of your time? So this is the first part of the show and what we talked about. Then we transitioned into talking about real estate and using real estate. That's that R and cream, using real estate in a different way, because the name of the game is always income. Income. So we're walking you through the process of how to qualify for a property that is more than one unit. And as we stated, a traditional approval, if you're approved for 1 unit, you're approved for up to 4 units. Okay. And so now that we know that, and we know that we want to go to a mortgage broker as opposed to directly to a bank, we want to explore that option, right? And then so we say, okay, now I have this, I got this mortgage, I got approved. Now I got to find a realtor. You can call the Henderson Financial Group for that if you like. And now I have the property. And what's next, Tavaris? What do we do next?
So after you get the property and all that good stuff, what you want to do is you want to shop around for a tenant. Right now, the tenant, basically, you want to get you a good tenant, though. You want to get you a good tenant, right? So many nightmares just came to mind when I said good.
You had
tenant.
a flashback.
Yes. So, yeah, you want to do your due diligence, do background checks, stuff like that. Of course, you want to meet the people in person. When you're showing them around the property, ask them questions. You want to get to know them, and also give them some time to get to know you as well. And now, when you're stepping into a landlord responsibility, that's exactly what you're stepping into, a responsibility. Now, when someone calls you about a problem at the property, that's your responsibility, right? So it's bigger than just income at the end of the month. You have to reckon, well, and if you're not built for that, if you don't want those calls, we still don't want you to shy away from income producing property, right? Because they have property managers out there that can handle that for you. Now, a property manager does come with an expense, but hey, you're giving up something, so you kind of got to
trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, basically.
I like that you said you have a responsibility.
Yeah, it's a responsibility.
Because you're not going to just wake up and collect your rent
Definitely.
on the first of the month.
Definitely.
You have to bring something to the table.
Right.
And that something is making sure you keep the property up. I mean, think about it like this. Where would you want to live? How would you want to live? Do you want to live somewhere where the AC not working? Do you want to live somewhere where termites are infested? So you have a responsibility to be a great landlord to your tenants. And as Tavares said, you definitely have to screen your tenants. The shirt that I'm wearing today, and I didn't even plan it because I know we was going to have this conversation, but it says, my peace of mind outweighs $.
Whoa.
My peace of mind outweighs a dollar sign. And I want you to take that wherever you are. If we're talking about you being a landlord and owning property, take that there too. What does that mean? As you're going through the tenant screening process, just because the tenant want to pay you double the rent or above and beyond, or they want to move right away and I got everything right now, go ahead and sign, because I know you're going to be a headache. You're going to be a headache, right? And so you have to go through that screening process. For me, my screening process is I am very big on energy. So first of all, I got to see how you feel when we connect, when we engage. And then also I'm listening to the things that you're not saying by what you're saying. So if you got to move right now, if you have to move right now, I'm not the landlord for you, because I don't care what you got going on. But if it's I gotta move right now because this and this and this, next. But the point is, you have to go through that screening process, just like you would go through a screening process for, I was gonna say dating, but some of y'all don't go through a screening process. Anything moving, you're like, it's me, pick me. So we're not gonna use that example. We're not going to use that because some pick-me's might be watching. But just like you go through a screening process of
restaurant.
Eating,
a restaurant, right? You read the reviews. You don't just say, "Oh, that looks good. Let me just walk in here and order." No, you'll jump on. You want to read the reviews. You want to check out the menu, right? You want to look at the pictures of the food, all that good stuff. So you want to do that same due diligence when it comes to picking a tenant. And then after you select that tenant, hey, it's time to collect that payment, right?
Yep.
You would sign. Well, first you got to sign the contract, right? Get them to sign the lease or the contract, and then they'll pay you that first and last or that deposit, and boom, they move in. You give them the key, of course, and there you go.
Do a walkthrough. What I like to do is I say, listen, you live here, I don't live here. I've never lived here, right? So you got 30 days. I had my crew come in, and I've told them to fix all the stuff that needed to be fixed. I told them to paint it. We got you new appliances, whatever the case may be. But I don't live here, so you got 30 days. Within the first 30 days, if the toilet don't work or something's going on, please call me. Call me and let me know, because at the end of the 30 days, I'm going to expect my rent, and you can't say I'm not paying you your rent because the refrigerator stopped working. Well, you didn't let me know. So I set that foundation very early on, because sometimes people will try you. They'll play these games. They'll be like, oh, well, this not working, so I deducted it from the rent. I'm not sure. Don't play with your mama. Don't play with me. Right? So we don't play. And that's what you have to do that. The point is, you have to go in and, you can say it however you want to say it. Usually you say things, nicely and with respect, but so that they understand that what the boundaries are and the type of landlord you're going to be. And when they point things out that need to be corrected, then correct them. That's it. Correct them, because you get back what you give out. And so then after that, you're like, all right, so now I got a tenant. I got approved for a mortgage. Thank y'all for letting me know I could buy a 4-unit with this or a duplex. I went through the process. I got the property. Then I got the tenant. And now that I have the tenants, and these tenants, I got the place fixed up. They're paying their rent every month. It's open season. Now can I go out and buy all the purses that come out every month?
Not at all.
No.
Now, I would encourage you to do a slight little celebration, right? You can just, invite some friends over, have your mom cook your favorite dinner or something like that, because you did accomplish something great, right? You got informed, right? You turned information into a realization, right? You turned the dream into your reality. You got information from the American Cream podcast. You went and got approved. You found the property. You closed on the property. You got your tenant. Well, you screened the tenant, found the right tenant, and you got your deposit, right? So that right there alone, you deserve a pat on the back, right? You deserve a slight celebration, but don't go out and overdo it, right? You don't want to shower yourself with gifts, and you don't want to shower yourself with expensive stuff. Just take it small and stay focused, right? Because you got to keep in mind that because you got one rental property, there's people out there that got hundreds of units out there for rent. When I say units, we have some people collect. You may collect maybe $1,500 to $2,000 a month. There's some people out there collecting $200,000, $100,000 a month, right? So don't get comfortable with that one achievement, right?
Keep going. So what we're saying is, Tavaris is saying, celebrate yourself, big up yourself, right? Do whatever you need to do. I did this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you can be celebrating. You celebrate with your broke friends, they're gonna be hating. I'm telling you.
That's why I said, Mama, have Mama cook you something. Mama gonna be proud of you.
Yeah.
Mama gonna be proud.
Yeah. The most anybody will ever hear me talk about rental property is on the American Cream show. In my private life, we don't talk about that. I go to work, I come home. That's it. I'll never be like, I'm going to collect my rent, or we We don't have those conversations. So as you elevate and celebrate, then I want you to realize that every month now, because you got tenant A paying the rent, paying rent that's going to the mortgage company. Now you got tenant B, C, and D, depending on what type of property you have. That property is going into an account specifically for that property, the investment property. And you are saving that money every month. Now, some people say, well, Hyacinth, can I house hack? I want to live in one of the units. You can live in one of the units too. When I first bought my first rental property, I didn't live in a unit. I was still living at home. I was like, I'm renting all these things out, right? You can live in one of the units. If you just got to go because your mama talking loud and she fussing at you and you don't want to be there no more and it's time for you to go, then you can live in a unit as well. But the point is, the excess rent that you are collecting, what we want you to do, or what we want you to consider is that you put it in the bank and you save it. Not just for a rainy day so you can go buy the latest and greatest car because you want a Tesla. We want you to put it in the bank and save it so that you can rinse and repeat. We want you to get another property. I recommend people at least get you 2 investment properties before you get your dream home, before you get the home that you're going to be doing cartwheels in your drawers in. Why? Because that is 2 sources of income. Tavaris said there are people who are collecting $200,000 a month in rent. I had lunch with a good friend of mine the other week, and Kevin was like, Hyacinth, my goal is 100 doors. Like, I want to get 100 doors.
And it's possible.
100 doors.
It's possible.
It is possible. And I share that with you because although you may not think it's possible, you may be around people who have 0 doors. There are people who say, I want 100 doors. And they look like you and me. It is possible for you to do. You just have to be around the right people. You have to be having the right conversations. And I know that those of you who are tuned in, you want better for yourself. And this is one of the ways that we do it. Real estate, that real estate game is one of those things that it's like, listen, and as Tavaris said, you can still keep your day job. So you can get your check from your day job or your day business or whatever the case may be. Then you can have some real estate. And then if you are shy, you could be a YouTube content creator and make 140 grand a year like the 26-year-old. Like, there are so many different things you can do. The American cream is about you redefining the American dream on your terms. Your terms are the only terms that matter. We're not living in a season where, you know, you gotta graduate from high school, go to college, get a degree, become a doctor, pay student loans forever, and struggle. We're not living in those seasons anymore. You can level up. We're not living in a season where we're kicking our kids out at 18 or 20 because we want them out of their house, and you got to get out of my house when you grown and you got to go and get your own stuff. We're not doing that. We're letting them stay home so that they can stack their money. We're sitting down with them, creating a plan for them. And then when they get out, we're going to say, Tink, Tink, and Tito, go get you an investment property. That's going to be your first property, baby girl. Your friend's not going to celebrate that, but you celebrate yourself because you either sacrifice now or you sacrifice later, right? You sacrifice now or you sacrifice later. You can't have both though. You are free to make whatever choice you want to make, but you are not free from the consequences of your decisions that you make. Let me say that again, because people are like, oh, I want to do this and this and this. You free. Be free. You are free to make whatever choices you want to make, but you are not free from the consequences of the decisions that you make. So if it's working for you, keep doing it. But if it's not working for you, then understand that there is a different way, and you don't have to be a millionaire to do it. All you need to qualify for a mortgage, people say you got to have a 700 credit score. Listen, if you go to a mortgage broker, they can get you a mortgage with less than a 700 credit score. So you can get you a mortgage and start there. Start buying your property. Use that money. That's your foot in the door, and start flipping it. And when I say flipping, I'm not talking about flipping properties. I'm talking about flipping that rental income and buying another property, another property, another property, another property, until you're at the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I got 100 doors. Maybe I have 10 doors. Maybe you have 4 doors. And right now you have 0 doors. So 4 doors is a major accomplishment for you. And if that's the case, that is fantastic. But we want to open up your mind so that you can know that you can do this. There are other ways for you to do this. You can do it. You just have to apply yourself. You just have to know what direction you're going in. Because if you don't know what direction you're going in, you're going wherever the wind blows, right?
And that's direction, right? Direction and destination, right? So when you have direction, and you have direction, you have a burning desire inside of you, you don't have to worry about blowing wherever the wind blows you, right? Because you know exactly where you're trying to go, and that's getting in rental properties, right? As you were speaking, what came to mind was prospering property, prospering properly using income property.
I like that. That might be an LLC name.
Prospering property using investment property. So that's what came to mind when you were speaking about the consequences of your decisions, right? So your consequences, they can be positive, right, or they can be negative. It all depends on the decisions you make before the consequence comes, right? So we're trying to teach you guys how to prosper properly, right, by using investment properties.
Using your tools, using the tools that you have in a way that is going to help you build the future that you want. We all got tools. We all have tools. Even you have tools. Your children have tools. We are your family members. Your credit is a tool. I've said that over and over again. I just told you how to use your credit in a different way. Your credit is a tool. You can only build things when you know how to use the tools appropriately.
Right.
And for those of you with children, I want you to understand that it is no longer all about you. Everything that you are doing now is for you and your children. They're watching you. They are watching you. They're watching the moves that you make. And so ask yourself, when it's your time for your number to be called, what are you leaving them? You're leaving them with bills? You're leaving them with debt? Or you're leaving them with the foundation? Are you leaving them with, and even if the foundation isn't something physical, are you leaving them with knowledge and information so that they can take it to the next level? What are you leaving them with? Do you have life insurance? Are you covered? If you have a niece, a nephew, or grandchildren, and you know their mama and daddy ain't got the good sense that the good Lord gave them, do you have insurance on them? Hey, bro, come here. Let me sit down. Let me get an insurance policy on you. You think something gonna happen to me? No, I don't think nothing gonna happen to you. Ever. I just want to use my money. It's my money. Can you let me use my money? I want to use my money to get a life insurance policy on you. And don't worry, Tink Tink is going to be the beneficiary. Right? And so we have to have these conversations. We need to do this. We need to be thinking in this way because we never know what's going to happen. But I know that everybody who's listening to this show, we all have one thing in common. We have one thing in common. And you know what that one thing in common is? Is we want to build wealth. We want us some money. Isn't that right?
Hey, income.
Because there's no way you would be listening to a financial educational radio show or a podcast or wherever you're listening to this at. You wouldn't be tuned into a financial educational show if you weren't trying to get you some money. So now that you're here, now we're going to show you how we do it. We're going to show you how to do it in a way because as Tavaris said, it's all about income. It's not about the bling bling. It's not about the cars you drive. And it's not about none of that. It's about income. You know, I have been thinking last week, I guess after my birthday, I've been reevaluating and things like that. And I was thinking, dang, I really want this truck. It's a truck that I want. I'm not going to name the truck. I really want this truck. I really want the truck. And I was thinking back, I was like, dang, if I was still married, my ex-husband, he would have got the truck. I would have just had to just say, oh, I've been looking at this truck, and it would have been in my driveway, right? No longer married, so it's on me now, right? So I went online, I looked at the truck. The truck cost $140,000, right? And so I was just like, I can't see myself. I just can't see me, paying $140,000 for a truck because I know I could use that same $140,000
to do what?
Invest it, to flip it. Like I can trick that 140 out in 10 different ways, right? So I was like, I can't just do it. So I'm like, dang, all right, do I want to manifest somebody buy me this truck, right? And I'm like, nah. And as I'm constantly, and I be having we be having these real conversations, right? This really happened, what I'm telling you all. And so I was thinking about it for a few days. I was like, dang, all right, so you don't need a husband to buy you the truck. Then you know you're not going to use your money to buy the truck. And then I thought about it.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. I was like, you know what, girl? If you was making $140,000 a month, would you care that the truck cost $140,000?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
That'll be a drop in the bucket.
It'll be a drop in the bucket. So the lower side of me was like, oh my God, you got to get somebody to pay for it, girl. Maybe you don't really need that truck. I like nice things. I don't wear my money on clothes and shoes and all that. I will eat it and I will pay for travel. Right? So I like nice things. I like a luxurious lifestyle. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to lower my dream. I was like, girl, you need to make you some more money.
There you go.
You need to do something. You need to make these numbers dance in a way so that little 140 truck, you ain't even sweating it. And then you might lease it or whatever. Somebody gonna pay for the truck. It's not gonna be me exchanging time for money. And I'm only sharing that with you because I want you to think about your goals and your dreams. When you think about real estate, you may be like, oh my God, that is so far-fetched. What do you got to do to level up to get it?
that goes back to the first conversation we was having, or the first topic, which was adding value, using your spare time to cultivate yourself, to sharpen your knife, right? To water your seed, to fertilize your seed and give it some sunlight. And I'm using metaphors, right? But what I'm trying to say is once you have your purpose, you want to put time and attention and energy into your purpose. So that way you can get to where you want to go. You can get that $140,000 truck, right? You can get that dream house because you cultivated your seed. And you can't do that by wasting your time, wasting your energy, right? And wasting your good years, right? You want to be stingy with that stuff.
Yeah. You want to redirect that into wealth building activities. And make no mistake about it, I can get the truck now, right? And so I know people who have the truck, and I'm like, dang, you got this truck and you don't got no assets. You got this truck. This how much you pay for this truck, and you flossing it, and you don't have no assets. You don't have no. So
you just gave them game.
Yeah, because the assets got to pay for the liabilities.
There you go.
The assets always got to pay for the liabilities.
There you go.
Always. And my assets, they're accounted for. My money is working double cylinders. Now I got to put some more money to work to pay for this truck.
Right. So let me translate that.
Or remarry my ex-husband. I kid.
There's hope. It sounds like.
I kid. Nah, that's my dude. Y'all know. Can't nobody talk about my ex-husband but me. I'm riding for him till the wheels fall off. All right. But nah, we ain't going backwards.
So what it sounds like is you saying is save your money. Use your money to purchase assets. Now, remember, when you get those assets, you put the tenants in there. Let the tenants buy your luxuries, or buy more assets.
Yep.
And more assets, and use the assets to buy the luxuries. It's a domino effect.
Yep.
And you use it to your advantage.
We're gonna keep flipping them properties, flipping them stocks, flippity flip.
But when you go in your pocket to buy a luxury, you're moving backwards.
You're moving backwards.
You're
hustling backwards.
Oh, man.
All right, real quick, we want to give some shout outs. We got Miss Denise Ward here. June Daney, thank y'all so much for being here. DeLawrence Moore. June says, my t-shirt is fire. I got this t-shirt from a black-owned business, Empowered Tees. Empowered Tees is a black-owned business owned by, I think the husband's name is Patrick and Sheena. And I will come back and comment, put their website in here. Cool people. They send out information about their shirts and then also motivational stuff too. I'll be reading that stuff like, go black people, go. Y'all go. So yes, Empowered Tees. Remember, my peace of mind outweighs the dollar sign. That means I'm not putting up with your stress to get a check. All right. So we got Miss Dorothy Henderson, Curtis Kegler, my girl Diana George. She says, yes, get that lipstick off your teeth. Yes, ma'am. Miss Redhead, you want to go, T?
Hey, yeah, so Damian Nelson, Miss Helen Duhar. Hey, Miss Duhar, how you doing? Tiffany, hello, Tiffany. Damian Nelson again.
Yeah.
We got Miss Redhead with
Hurley,
the
that was a new name. Go up. Who's that? Hurley Haywood Long Jr. This is timely info. Love you guys. Thank you. This is a new name. I haven't seen it before on the show, so thank you for commenting today.
Erica Owens.
Yes.
Tracy Tompkins.
Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys stopping in. We'll be same place, same time next Saturday. And yeah.
And don't forget, subscribe to the American Cream Podcast. I'm going to record an episode on a 1031 to show you how you can use your real estate funds, the proceeds from the sale of one property to buy another property. I'll talk about that on the podcast. So that is the American Cream Podcast. Paula Loving says, great job. Thank you all so much for spending your Saturday here with us. Anytime that you're tuned into the American Cream, we know that you are committed to yourself and your financial legacy. So give yourselves a hand, a pat on the back, or raise the roof. Thank you, and we will see you next week. Peace.